Can you even begin to imagine how long the characters in Family Guy would rot in jail if they were charged for their crimes? I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. And after binge watching Family Guy for, I kid you not, 100 hours, which honestly isn't that much considering how much content there is in Family Guy, I have documented a plethora of horrible crimes that'll have Peter Griffin in prison singing about his milkshakes for the rest of his life.
Do it!
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. It's better than yours. Damn right, I can teach you, but I have to charge.
I'll be covering his offenses in order of sentence length, starting with stupid misdemeanors and ending with very gruesome and just downright evil acts of terror. Hearing the name Peter Griffin and the word in the same sentence sounds completely bizarre, but believe it or not, he did actually become one in the show. Peter loses his job and sees it as an opportunity to pursue his dream career.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
To the owner of a yellow Hyundai, your car is being towed.
What? I won!
How does one get a job as a jouster in the 21st century? But before trying out for jousting, he dabbled in another unusual line of work.
Has Dad found a permanent job yet?
Your father's going through a bit of a career transition, searching for something that fits him just right.
Well, clearly it's not that tube top.
Looking for a good time, sweet cheeks?
Oh my God.
Peter, get in the car.
Okay, but it'll cost you. What do you want, a Cleveland steamer?
I said get in the car.
Whoa, 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 be cool. Yeah, so go to Maple Street and then,
Get in this car right now.
It's eerie, isn't it? Like looking into the future.
You see Peter get nervous when those cops pulled up? That's because he's illegal in Rhode Island. Hooker Peter can be thrown to the slammer for 6 months, and a criminal conviction will make it even harder to find a new job. Stewie has killed millions of innocent people, and karma almost came for him in the form of his awful family in the episode Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Chris sneaks into Meg's bedroom and reads her diary. She catches him, and a fight breaks out with Stewie caught right in the middle.
Well, I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
Do you think he's okay? So Stewie can literally fall off the roof or get thrown through a window and be totally fine, but a little tumble down the stairs and he's knocked out cold. Too scared to tell their parents about the accident, Chris and Meg try their best to hide Stewie's injuries.
Oh, look at my little cowboy.
He must be starving. Hey, how's the food, Stewie? Oi, blimey, it's a right delicious hot.
Peter finally recognizes something is up, and Chris and Meg come clean. But Peter never takes Stewie to the hospital. He just tries to blame the accident on Lois.
Oh my God, Stewie!
looks like you ran over him, Lois.
And Lois is utterly heartbroken for like 2 seconds.
Oh no, he's unconscious. Peter, we have to cover this up.
Yeah, but what?
Find a way to pin this on someone else.
I love you so much right now. Let's go.
You're probably wondering if the little guy is dead. I thought the same. But Stewie does make a reappearance in the end credits of the episode.
Hey, I just found out it's November. What the f*** happened?
Not bothering to take his badly injured and unconscious baby to the hospital is definitely child endangerment, and Peter can be sentenced to 3 years in the Quahog City Jail. And I'm surprised this didn't become a manslaughter segment. I'm telling you, Stewie's football head must be made of steel for him to survive that. Peter Griffin is a super selfish guy, and he once committed charity fraud for the dumbest reason. Peter is watching Gumball 2, Gumball Beats Justice, and becomes upset when he finds out NBC has canceled the show. A few days later, he sees something on the TV that gives him a very shameful idea.
A terminally ill 8-year-old boy got his wish today, thanks to the Grant a Dream Foundation.
Back to pass. Here comes the rush. Oh, he sacks!
Like little Johnny should have wished for some blocking.
I just thought of a way to get the Gumballs back on the air.
Peter takes Chris to the Grant a Dream Foundation and convinces them that his son is dying.
I'm telling you, Chris is dying 10 times worse. Very rare disease called, tumor syphilis.
Well, sounds sexy.
Take a look. He's growing nipples.
They look like pepperonis.
See, look, they're coming right off.
Well, that's the sickest boy I've ever seen. Get me the president of television.
You know what? I don't think I'll order that pizza after all. The Grant the Dream Foundation agrees to grant Chris his dying wish to see Gumball 2, Gumball Beats Justice back on air. But they also want to film Chris's death for publicity. Pretty soon, a camera crew and a group of mourners turn up at the Griffin household.
Go home, Chris Griffin, you're so brave. A smile on your face and a bounce in your step as they dig your grave. As they dig your grave.
A Furious Lois warns Peter that he could go to prison for fraud, and acting out of desperation, the Fat Man claims Chris has been miraculously cured.
There's only one way out of this. Chris is all better. I cured him. I have divine powers. Okay, safe drive. What do you have to say to that? I'm not going to jail. Best of all, Gumble the Gumble is back on the air.
Amazingly, that just gets him off the hook, but what would have happened if he had been caught? Well, he'd certainly be charged with fraud, and that would mean 3 years in the clink. So now Peter has lost his favorite TV show and his freedom. But let me tell you, knowing what comes next, that's the least of what this jerk deserves. Besides bullying his daughter Meg and watching TV, Peter Griffin's favorite thing to do is drink. But sometimes he has one too many and gets behind the wheel. Peter and Brian go to the movies, but they end up causing the biggest scene in the theater.
Lisa, get away from him. He's a Nazi.
Sit down! Move! Stop blocking the screen, you jerk!
Buddy, step away from the young lady. And Zaring, you asked for it.
They are both arrested and forced to attend a 12-step AA program, which they ruin for everyone attending.
Hey, anyone in the house addicted to alcohol?
I enjoy alcohol.
I can't hear you.
Mr. Griffin, alcohol is forbidden at our meetings.
I have never seen a duller bunch of pathetic bastards in my life.
Yeah, you all stopped drinking because you were hurting your loved ones. Can't hurt them if they don't know you're drunk. Let's make this our sanctuary.
I wants me that beer.
I can't tell if what they did was cool or another level of douchebaggery. When the meeting is over, Peter drives home drunk, but he gets instant karma, thankfully. Peter has then a near-death experience where death shows him what kind of person he'll become if he continues with this heavy drinking of his.
All right, family, line up for cigar burns.
Ah!
Ow! Ah!
He already abuses his family anyway, though. Now he just looks slightly more slobbish and dirty. Death gives Peter one more chance after he agrees to drink in moderation from now on. And you'd think that traumatic accident would teach him a lesson about drunk driving, but nope. After that episode, he drove intoxicated 3 more times!
Okay, Joe, you're drunk. Give me your keys. And I'm drunk, so I'll give you my keys. Now we're both good to drive home. You been drinking tonight, sir?
No, officer.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to step out of the car and walk. All right, you be safe, sir. Nothing better than a 7 a.m. beer and an unbrushed mouth.
Peter, I don't want you drinking too much.
Lois, I know how many beers I can drink. I figured it out. 7. 6.
Peter drove drunk at least 4 times in the show that I found, so his total sentence would be at least 4 years in prison. He'd also get banned from driving for 3 years, but I think the selfish jackass should be banned for life. Peter will not hesitate to help out his buddy Quagmire, especially when there's money in it for him. Quagmire and the rest of the pilots at the Quahog Airport go on strike. To make ends meet, he turns to stripping.
I am in the full, upright, and locked position.
That scene becomes even weirder when you think about the fact that Quagmire's in his 60s, by the way. But stripping isn't enough for Glenn, and he soon finds himself making money as a full-blown... Unfortunately, a lonely old lady tries to dupe him over. Luckily, his pal Peter can force her to pay up.
Hey, you didn't pay my friend.
Stop it!
I can do this all day. I love buttons.
Fine, here's your money.
She's lucky Peter didn't kick the door in and knock her lights out. You know how quickly he can turn violent. Quagmire offers Peter a cut, marking the beginning of Peter's pimp career.
Working for a living, I'm taking what they're giving, 'cause I'm working for a living,
Oh, frick, I think I'm gonna be sick. While the pimp relationship was working great at first, Peter starts taking his role as pimp way too seriously.
Dang, Quagmire, you're lucky. He take care of you.
It's great. I'm making a lot of money. I'm actually very hungry.
You want to eat? Get up to that bar and earn your keep.
What should I ask for? 500?
You're trash. Ask for 2. You know I hit you and whore you out because I love you, right?
Dude's a menace. He needs to be stopped, but a fabulously dressed one. Peter and Quagmire both quit the industry in the end, probably due to the trauma this client gave them both.
Big Pete, help! She wants to do German things!
What? No! He hasn't eaten anything in days! It's not gonna work! 9! God, she's got us both. Help us, HBO camera crew.
Is forbidden in Rhode Island, and that means pimping is too. For acting as Quagmire's pimp, Peter can be sentenced to 5 years in jail. I'm sure the other inmates will have a good laugh when they find out what he's in there for. Peter and Carter hate each other, so it didn't surprise me when he jumped at the chance to rob his father-in-law. The guys are gearing up for a fun day in paintballing, but Joe bails, thinking Bonnie might go into labor anytime soon. Fed up with Joe blowing him off, Peter decides to induce Bonnie's labor by playing the most boring TV show he can think of. 2.5 Men. Well, it works, and Bonnie is rushed to the hospital where she gives birth to a beautiful baby girl.
Here's your baby. She's beautiful.
She sure is, Joe.
It's hard to believe she's already 18.
You can always count on Quagmire to ruin a special moment. Joe was overjoyed at the birth of Susie, but his happiness quickly turns to worry.
I got her hospital bill this morning. It's $20,000.
Oh my God.
Shouldn't they close the curtains for that? The guys turn to Carter Pewterschmidt and ask him to help Joe, but he's not very charitable.
Joe's getting desperate, and we haven't raised nearly enough. Is there any way you could help us out?
Of course, but it's funnier to me if I don't. In about an hour, I'm gonna piss away 20 grand.
Dang, Carter makes Ebenezer Scrooge seem like a philanthropist. Feeling desperate and angered by the rich jerk, Joe and the guys plan to steal the money themselves. Peter, Quagmire, and Cleveland all sneak into Carter's party wearing bad mustache disguises, and, following Joe's instructions, they commit a heist.
I'm in. Holy crap, there's another door!
I knew Cleveland was so talented. They finally get to the money undetected, but just as they're about to get their criminal hands on the 20 grand, Lois confronts Joe.
But think about your beautiful little girl. You'll miss running after her as she learns to walk. I mean, riding bikes with her as dancing at a wedding. You know what you're doing is wrong, and you know how to make it right.
Guys, put the money back and get out of there.
I guess parking the CCTV van right outside the Griffin's house wasn't a very smart idea, huh? Had that not happened, Peter, Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe would all be charged with burglary, and a guilty verdict would mean 5 years in prison. But hey, it'll just be like hanging out at the Drunken Clam together, except there's no booze and there are bars on the windows. Being kind of messed up in the head and not giving a damn about what other people think, Peter Griffin gets nude whenever he feels like it. While he walks around his home stark naked probably on the daily, he's also known to strip off in numerous locations, such as parking lots.
This isn't Big Mouth. You're not gonna see it.
The Drunken Clam.
Peter, where are your clothes?
I need your gun.
No problem, evil-looking Peter.
Internet cafes.
Oh, yeah. Chinese Lois.
Job interviews.
Oh my God.
Hi, we're here for the interview?
Banks.
You have no clothes on.
Must be having one of those dreams again. Better wake myself up. Oh, thank God. Well, time to apply for this small business loan.
His in-laws' home.
Why are you naked in my house?
Why aren't you?
You're all right, Griffin.
And live television sets.
The playoff game between the...
Streaking, unrelated.
Public nudity is a crime in Rhode Island. It's called indecent exposure, and Peter could be sentenced to 1 year in jail each time he was caught in his birthday suit outside home. Although that's 7 years in the big house, I bet he'll only spend like half that time in his orange jumpsuit. We can all agree that Peter can't go 2 hours or so without food, but we probably never expected him to eat a person. I mean, I didn't. Peter, Quagmire, Joe, and Cleveland are enjoying a fishing trip together, but the fun gets spoiled by a hurricane, which drags them out to sea and destroys their boat. Luckily, they can build a raft with some extra items Quagmire brought with him on the trip.
It's lucky you packed so many blow-up dolls, Quagmire.
Be careful. The tiniest prick will pop these things.
Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe survive days on Quagmire doll raft without food, but Peter doesn't even get a single hunger pang.
Hey, what's that?
What?
You bastard! You have food?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Peter!
Yeah, see, now this is why I didn't say anything. I knew you were gonna get like this.
And I bet the fricker started hacking off Joe's legs within 5 minutes of being lost at sea. The guys are eventually presumed dead at sea, and Brian swoops at this opportunity to marry Lois. Months pass, and the guys are still alive on the desert island the raft was washed up on. Believing that they don't have long left to live, Peter suggests that they do something to make their last moments a bit more interesting.
All right, fellas, we've been out here for months, and being that there's no women around, we're gonna have to have a... Anybody?
No.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
While they didn't enjoy the it would ultimately save their lives by attracting the attention of tourists on a passing cruise ship.
I'm sure glad nobody's here to see this.
If you look off the left side of the ship, you'll see a bunch of homosexuals.
Everyone gets reunited with their loved ones, and Joe even gets a new set of legs from a former death row inmate who was unfortunately a paraplegic also. But enough about that, let's get back to Peter's grotesque act of cannibalism. Cases of cannibalism are so rare that Rhode Island doesn't even have any laws against it, which is slightly concerning. However, there is a law against mutilation. For cutting off Joe's legs, Peter can be sentenced to 20 years in the slammer, with only 3 meals a day. Everybody better keep an eye on their legs. If you're like me, you also thought Peter was just born a dumbass, but maybe he's actually brain damaged from all the hardcore drugs he's experimented with, like steroids.
Peter, could you please pass the potatoes?
Ah, damn it, Meg!
What the hell are you doing?
Jeez, this sucks worse than that time I did cocaine with Carl Malden.
Crack?
Peter, what are you doing? Crack? What the
Hey, at least I'm not drinking, Brian.
Ecstasy?
We did ecstasy. Kids, don't do it. It's too awesome. If you hate pure, unconditional love, definitely do not try this drug.
Meth?
All right, guys, looks like I'm really liking meth. Hey, guys, I need money. Like now. Like yesterday. Like now!
Crystal meth?
I am so f***ing ready.
And fentanyl.
You know what gilf means, right? God, I love fentanyl.
You said it, pal.
Jeez, he must know every drug dealer in town. For possessing all those illegal drugs, Peter can be in prison for a total of like 21 years. That's 3 years for each type of drug he took. I guess he really should have listened to his own advice in season 1.
Believe me, Chris, you don't want to mess with drugs. I tried them once. Things got way too real.
While the show is called Family Guy, Peter Griffin couldn't really care less about his family, especially his in-laws. When Peter catches his father-in-law, Carter Pewterschmidt, getting a little too cozy with another woman, he ends up getting some unsavory ideas.
Ah, that was excellent.
Oh my God! Mr. Pewterschmidt, you're having an affair?
This is my sister.
Ew!
No, I'm impotent. I mean, she looked at me while I did it to myself.
Ew!
I mean, she's a man.
Ew!
We need more E's and W's down here now!
That scene always cracks me up, dude. Peter stays silent about the affair at first, but after a few drinks at the Drunken Clam, the guys convince him to use the situation to his advantage. He heads to the Pewterschmidts and blackmails Carter, but not for money. Staying true to his character, Peter demands his father-in-law participate in whatever silly activities he says, and that includes a limo joust.
That went exactly as I wanted it to go.
Traveling to France just to insult the French.
People of France, depressed guy smoking a cigarette is not a movie. And your sirens sound like gay guys having a threesome.
And writing a whole book of new catchphrases for him.
All right, you got my catchphrases for me?
This was a huge pain in the ass.
Shape up or show me your balls. That's good.
Well, how about this one? In your face, Nancy Grace.
Oh, I love it. Fire alarm? I am the fire alarm. If you got a problem, take it up with my butt. He's the only one that gives a crap. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I thought
That's
you'd like...
But before he can blackmail Carter into doing any more ridiculous activities, smooth-brained Peter accidentally blabs about the affair in front of Barbara anyway.
You know, I keep not laughing at the Big Bang Theory. It's got to be the television. TV this size, forget it. It'll have me laugh until I got snots falling out of my nose.
I'm giving it to Peter.
What? Why?
Because Peter is the best, and he is awesome.
He's not just saying that because I covered for him about his affair.
If all of this had gone down in real life, Carter could have reported Peter for blackmail. Sure, he didn't lose any money, but threatening someone for their labor can still be legally classed as blackmail. Blackmail is a serious crime in Rhode Island, and the penalty can be as high as 15 years in prison. Did I mention another crime was committed here? You probably won't guess what it is, because it's a strange law Rhode Island has. Absolutely no dueling. That limo duel Carter and Peter fought could land them both in jail for 7 years. Pretty weird, huh? It's usually Peter dragging his wife Lois into criminal activities, but in the episode Living on a Prayer, it was the other way around. Stewie had finally made a friend at daycare, Scotty, but Scotty gets pulled out after contracting a serious but very treatable disease. It is soon revealed that Scotty has even worse parents than Stewie somehow.
Lois, we came as soon as we got your call.
Oh, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but Scotty has
cancer. We know.
You do?
But you shouldn't have brought him to the hospital without talking to us first.
He was unconscious. He clearly needed treatment.
He doesn't receive treatment.
We're Christian Scientists. We don't accept medical care for ourselves.
But your son has cancer.
Lois begs the religious nuts to reconsider and save their child's life, but they won't budge. And so she sees no other option than to kidnap the baby and take him to the hospital herself. However, it's too difficult to carry out the abduction alone, so Lois enlists the help of her super reliable and totally not incompetent husband.
All right, I got him, Lois.
That's not Scotty. That's Ben.
Oh, still learning everybody's names.
Damn it. Put him back and go get Scotty.
While I'm doing that, maybe you do something about that snatchy tone.
Peter really is the most pathetic criminal I've ever covered in these videos, man. They eventually get baby Scotty and drive him to the hospital, but the cops are already there waiting to arrest the kidnappers. And in the end, Scotty's parents do get their son the treatment he needs after Lois gives this moving speech.
Ben, Hope, I know you don't believe in modern medicine. You do believe in the power of prayer.
That's right.
People of good faith would pray to God for a cure. Well, then isn't it possible that penicillin, vaccines are all actually answered prayers?
It's good so far, Lois. Try to work a few laughs in there if you can.
But the sweet moment immediately gets ruined by Peter.
Hey, everybody! We're all gonna get laid!
While the real criminals in this episode should have been Scotty's parents for neglecting their child, Peter and Lois are, in fact, guilty of kidnapping, even if it was for good reason. Most kidnappings are punishable by 20 years in jail, but when a minor is involved, the sentence could be life in prison. And I do feel like Peter could get off easy by pinning it all on Lois. To be fair, it was all her idea. Peter's impulsive nature and lack of morals often result in him taking whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and that includes Joe's ramp.
Peter, I don't need to be in a wheelchair.
I already went through the trouble of borrowing this ramp from Joe. I'll be back in a while.
Joe, are you all right?
Joe's pool?
Good morning, Joe.
Peter, what are you doing in my pool?
Oh, this is the newest province of Pretoria. I call it Joe-hio.
What? What has he got against Joe? He's also stolen a bunch of exotic animals.
Hello, everybody. This is Montecore. He's my lion.
Peter, what the hell?
Hey, Lois, can you run inside and get me some oranges or whatever it is these things eat?
What is that?
This would be a giraffe. I stole it from the zoo.
Okay, the lion and the parrot I get, but how do you sneak a massive giraffe out of a zoo unnoticed? The value of the item stolen does not exceed $1,500. The sentence is 1 year in jail. So Peter's got 24 months for cruelly taking his disabled friend's ramp and that parrot. Joe's pool probably has a value between $1,500 and $5,000. That's an extra 3 years added to Peter's sentence. As for the giraffe and lion, they definitely both exceed 10 grand in value, which means Peter is looking at 25 years in prison altogether. Being friends with Peter Griffin means you can never have anything nice in life. Joe's uncle passes away and he inherits his very expensive 1950s Chrysler. That really is a nice car, though. I can't believe I'm actually jealous of a cartoon character. Peter, Quagmire, and Cleveland show up, and naturally, they want to ride in the cool car.
What's happening right now?
Annoyed that Joe won't take them for a proper spin, the guys sneak over to his house later that day and take the car for themselves.
Hello. Yes, Joe Swanson? Would you be willing to take a half-hour survey while facing the wall?
And they may have successfully borrowed the car had Cleveland remained in the driver's seat.
Look out! Crap!
Oh man, Joe is gonna be so pissed!
I mean, Peter's not entirely to blame here. Who the hell leaves their garbage cans right in the middle of the frackin' road? Anyway, taking someone's car without permission, i.e. stealing, is the most serious kind of theft. Peter can be jailed for as long as 30 years. But at least Quagmire and Cleveland will be there to keep him company. Okay, we're at our halfway checkpoint now, and Peter's prison sentence is already 165 years and 6 months long. Surely it can't get any worse than that. Well, it sure can. Some of these next crimes are straight up evil, and they'll make you wonder how someone so dim-witted could even get away with them. Peter Griffin rarely tries to better himself, so when he decided to make a fresh start as a farmer, I was intrigued, to say the least. When the Griffins return home one day and find they've been robbed, they decide to move somewhere safer, away from the hustle and bustle of Quahog.
Here we are, everyone, the Griffin family farm.
Just as the family are beginning to adjust to the farm life, a tornado hits. They take shelter in the storm cellar and discover a little secret about the previous owners of the farm.
You guys, there's a fully functional meth lab in our basement.
We have to call the police.
Whoa, wait, hang on, Lois. When you really stop and think about it, this meth lab is our best chance to make meth in a lab.
What are you talking about, Peter?
I'm talking about saving the farm.
While the meth was only supposed to be for the customers, Brian returns home from college to find out his whole family have become meth heads.
Hey everyone, I'm back. What the hell is going on?
Just working on a family project.
I might have the solution to our farming trouble.
That's nice, Brian. Oh, yeah, we're meth dealers now.
So, was killing Meg part of the family project? And what are the dogs for? I have so many questions right now. But Peter's bragging about how much cash he's made gets interrupted by a news report detailing the city's staggering rise in meth usage. Seeing Quahog get destroyed because of their meth is enough to snap Lois back to her senses. She suggested they all return home and go back to their old lives. And Peter and the kids have no choice but to follow her once this happens.
An explosive batch of thermoreactive
That fiery explosion destroyed all evidence of Peter's meth business, so he never got his comeuppance in the show. However, if cops did bust into his meth lab in real life, Peter is really gonna regret not sticking with cattle farming. Meth is classified as a Schedule II drug in Rhode Island, and dealing it could result in a 30-year prison sentence plus a fine of $100,000. But I doubt the fine would bother Peter that much. I mean, his meth business probably brought in at least $1 million. Judging by how much Peter loves Garfield,
God, I can't hear Garfield.
I also went to the video store and got Garfield.
you'd expect him to be a huge animal lover, but that's not the case at all. Just look at how he treats his furry friend Brian.
Peter, I'm home from the market. I got steak sandwiches.
Oh, that's way better than chicken parm.
Or Yogi Bear. And all those other small innocent animals.
Hey there, you must be Huck. Great to finally meet you.
I'm gonna stab you for your blood.
Oh, come on. Shot in the pool in the last one. Ah!
Oh my God! Well, you guys relax. He's got 8 more lives. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Like this.
Stewie might not have inherited his dad's low IQ, but he definitely got his evil personality. Animal cruelty is punishable by 5 years in prison. I showed you 6 cases of this, so that means Peter's gonna be locked away for at least 30 years. And I hope those bars on his window are darn thick. We sure as hell don't want any birds accidentally flying into that cell. Peter always ends up destroying Cleveland's house with his stupid antics.
What the hell? Away we go. No.
What? Hey! You're not the same giraffe from last night. Get out of here!
What the hell? No.
Cleveland's home insurance must be through the roof, dude. No pun intended. The penalty for criminal property damage in Rhode Island is 5 years in jail and a fine of 3 times the amount of damage caused. Peter destroyed Cleveland's house 9 times throughout the show. That means Mr. Griffin's looking at about 45 years in prison and a fine of, $100,000. Again. Meg knows she's not exactly her dad's favorite kid.
Thanks, didn't want to pay for the hole.
But she probably never would have expected Peter to literally sell her. Peter arrives at Goldman's pharmacy without a wallet, so Mort generously opens up a tab for him. But instead of buying the he came in for, Peter goes on a shopping spree, buying 8 cases of syrup of Ipecac for something very important and urgent he absolutely had to do.
All right, you guys, I got 8 crates of Ipecac from Mort. Now, whoever goes the longest without puking gets the last piece of pie. Okay, here we go. How's everybody doing?
Good so far.
All right.
Nothing yet.
Cool. That's from the bake sale that Lois was...
One down. I know somebody who won't be having any...
You feel funny.
Well, I feel fine. I guess I'm gonna...
That means I win. I get to eat...
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, my insides are on fire.
You better get ready to vomit again because he owes Mort $34,000. Unable to pay off the debt, Peter makes a very illegal and unethical trade with Mort.
Listen, I got another idea. What if I sold you my daughter?
Huh? What?
Yep, all you gotta do is sign this contract.
You can't sell me, you fat son of a bitch!
While Meg is initially sold to become Neil's love interest, he soon becomes interested in another girl, and Mort finds another purpose for Meg.
Boy, this was a better acquisition than I thought.
Man, I feel so bad for her, dude. It's episodes like these that really, truly make you appreciate the time Meg got out of prison and beat Peter within an inch of his life. And you're probably wondering how Meg was eventually freed from slavery. No, Peter doesn't realize he made a terrible mistake and immediately go to save his daughter. It was actually Neil who tore up the contract and let Meg go. So basically, if Neil never did that, Meg would have been doomed to live the rest of her life as the Goldman slave. Any person who traffics a minor can be sentenced to 50 years in prison. Peter would also be fined 40 grand. I guess I'll have to sell Chris or Stewie this time around. In the episode Meg Stinks, Meg and Peter had the most wild father-daughter day ever. Peter and Lois find out Meg is a top student, and Peter takes her to an interview at the prestigious school, Green Mountain College. On the way to the school, they stop at a diner, and Peter's treatment of Meg is still the same as it always has been.
Well, I called and confirmed my interview for tomorrow morning.
I ordered you nothing.
What else is new?
But when he finds out that Meg likes the same music as him and knows he's afraid of guacamole, he begins warming up to his daughter just a little. Meg is so ecstatic to finally be bonding with her father that she agrees to gate crash a party instead of attending her very important interview.
Let's go.
Yes!
I gotta take a whiz.
I got a whiz too.
You got a funny little wiener, but you're a nice guy, Meg.
I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't see that. Lois is pissed when they get home, but Meg's just happy that she got to bond with her father. Lois warns that Peter will ruin her future if she continues hanging out with him like that, and she couldn't have been more right.
Meg, you've probably wondered how on earth I pay for all my shenanigans. This is a robbery! If this bitch moves, shoot him in the eye!
I don't want to do this!
You have to! We're buying a zebra!
Dad!
There's no time to argue. Who's the manager here?
I am.
What are you doing?
You said if he moves, shoot him!
Oh, I'll get the car. Kill everyone else.
The penalty for robbery is usually 5 years in jail, but the use of a weapon bumps it up to 10. And by bringing Meg along, Peter could also be charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor, but a conviction would only add an extra year to his sentence. And assuming they really did kill everyone else at the bank, that's another 75 years for murder. I think after all this, Meg will be grateful her father ignores her existence most of the time. At least then he can't get her into trouble. If there's one piece of advice I could give to every inhabitant of Quahog, it would be to stay the hell away from Peter Griffin. He only knows how to solve problems with his fists and is quite literally the king of beating people up. See for yourself.
Peter, what are you clenching in that fist there?
What's your name?
Derek.
What's your name?
Michael?
You're Derek now.
There's gotta be a better way.
He's got a knife! Ow, ow, ow. Bingo, bitches! Bingo.
Hey, Peter, my kid's selling Girl Scout cookies.
Is that off in for Ed's retirement cake?
Secret Santa? Carpool info?
Finally! Now I can get myself to the...
Jeez, I think someone needs some anger management therapy. Assault is punishable by 20 years in prison, so Peter's looking at least 160 years in the Stony Lonesome from this alone. And honestly, I feel bad for whoever Peter's cellmate is. They'll constantly need to tread on eggshells to avoid getting their lights punched out over the slightest inconvenience. Peter Griffin really is an awesome dad. Just look at him having some father-son time with Stewie.
Daddy, I want to turn on the swing set.
No, get lost.
It looks like fun and I want to do it.
I'm gonna do a big jump off. Get Mom! 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 Mom!
Or the loving bond he shares with his daughter.
Hey, Meg, come here. Have a seat.
Dad, what are you doing?
Meg, I'm a redneck. I am about to do something to you you'll not remember until you're 40. Meg, come back here. I meant...
Meg was 100% right to call Peter a Mr. Selfish-ass dad, but the fat man is actually way worse than what you just saw. His awful parenting abilities and dangerously impulsive nature have led to his children being severely abused over the years.
I'm gonna whip that cigarette out of your mouth and maybe not slice your face in half.
Don't want to do this.
Stay still! That's pretty cool, too.
Hey, Dad, that's a cool... I thought you couldn't understand me!
Only gonna hurt for about 3 weeks. What the hell?
You fatso, punch your baby in the face.
I did good, Meg.
Shut up.
Yeah!
I'm trying to watch my program.
Well, Chris, look, Mom's naked. You creep. We're gonna try for every single Emmy category, starting with Best Stunt Performance.
Peter, I don't think that's a category.
Best Documentary.
And Peter's violence toward children don't stop at his own. Check this out.
that is the last time you are gonna pull that crap. Do you hear me?
Yes!
Now you are gonna hold down that football until Charlie Brown kicks it.
Yes!
Now, go ahead, Charlie.
You're a poop nose.
You see that fire extinguisher there?
That's enough! Dad, that's enough! That's enough, Dad!
Peter, the boat's right there. We'll totally make it. Literally standing on the boat.
Made it!
And here's the fun fact for you. Peter Griffin was actually based on a security guard at the college Seth MacFarlane went to. I sure as hell wouldn't want to have been that guy's kid. Peter clearly inflicted enough damage on the kids to be charged with first-degree. He'd be sentenced to 20 years per account of. So the kitty beater would be caged for 280 years. And child abusers are notoriously hated by other inmates, so hopefully Peter will be in for a taste of his own medicine. Remember the episode Amish Guy? The one where Peter tried to massacre around 20 Amish farmers? The Griffin's car breaks down on the way home from Six Flags, leaving them stranded in Amish country. They end up staying at an inn, and Meg falls in love with an Amish boy named Eli. However, Eli's father, Ezekiel, is not impressed with Meg.
As for you, I suggest you stay away from my son, you harlot.
Meg runs to Peter crying, and he tries to win over Ezekiel by showing him rock music. This causes an angry mob to descend on the inn, and the Griffins escape the Amish on a horse and cart. They finally arrive home, but they find their house has been completely vandalized. Peter heads back to Amish country to put a violent end to the feud. Dang, they rebuilt that barn as fast as a cart, too. Oh. Meg and Eli rush to stop the fighting.
Dad, stop! Leave him alone!
Kill that man!
That man is my girlfriend, Meg.
And actually manage to talk some sense into their fathers. The fighting ends and Meg and Eli part ways, realizing they just can't be together. Eli won't be the only person Meg might never see again. Peter would be facing 20 years for each Amish guy he attempted to murder. I saw around 20 men in that clip. That's 400 years in prison, baby. But I think Meg will be the only one sad about losing Eli. After all, Peter has been a total jackass to her all her life. Most of the blood on Peter's chubby hands is the result of his reckless behavior, causing disastrous accidents. He has also committed dozens upon dozens of cold-blooded murders, and I must warn you, some of them are pretty damn brutal. But wait, there's more!
Kill it! Kill it!
Hi, Dad.
My name is Peter too!
So you concocted an elaborate series of murders, leading me to the fictional Scottish route.
I hope these taste as good as they look.
The secret is in the frosting.
I estimate Peter's total murder count to be at least 45. That means he's a literal serial killer roaming the streets of Quahog. A life sentence for murder in Rhode Island can be 25 years, so Peter's sentence for this would be 1,125 years at the minimum. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and for Peter Griffin, that includes participating in a terrorist plot. Peter and the guys take up skydiving to make their lives less boring, but Peter becomes addicted to the thrill of it and ends up getting hurt badly.
Wait, oh, the ground! Damn it! The Eiffel Tower. Oh, cool, I'm in Paris. Ah, crap, I'm in Vegas.
Ugh. While recovering in the hospital, Peter befriends a Muslim named Muhammad. Muhammad introduces Peter to Islamic culture and decides to become a Muslim. One day, Peter attends a Muslim meetup with Muhammad, and he really should have paid attention to the topic of conversation.
I told you, he's the perfect man to help us blow up the Quahog Bridge.
Oh my God! Everybody down! So are these toys just like to take?
Blissfully unaware that he's part of the plot to blow up the Quahog Bridge now, Peter plants a van on the bridge filled with explosives. Luckily, the terrorists are apprehended by Joe and put behind bars. To celebrate the foiled plot, Peter dials the drunken clam to reserve a table, but the terrorists have already hooked up his phone to the bomb.
Yeah, I think we could all use a drink.
Call Horace and tell him to get our table ready.
Peter, did you just...
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
And obliterating that bridge isn't the only act of terrorism Peter has committed. Remember that time he and Lois became anti-vaxxers? Stewie becomes injured after Peter tries to kill a bat.
I got you now, Bat Damon. I named you Bat Damon. And now I want you to live.
What?
Ow! You can beat me, but I am who I am!
Hey, maybe if he aimed that racket a little to the left, he could have whacked Stewie's head into a normal shape again. Lois and Peter take the baby to the hospital where the doctor offers them a vaccination, but after reading about the potential side effects, they become anti-vaxxers. To spread the word about how harmful vaccines are, Lois and Peter stage a protest in the park that'll give you secondhand embarrassment as it did me.
Parents of Quahog, number of childhood vaccines has tripled in the last generation because heartless corporations make billions of dollars, garbage, and poison upon our children.
But after every kid at Stewie's preschool falls ill with measles, Lois realizes she was wrong and wants to get Stewie vaccinated after all. Unfortunately, the little guy and everyone in town is gonna have to wait to get their shots.
Yeah, it might be a little too late for that. Destroyed all the vaccines in town. All right, what else did I have to do today? Ah, yes, overdose in my apartment.
Off topic, but that 30-second clip was more interesting than the entirety of Joker 2. Terrorism is a Class X felony everywhere in the US, and a conviction means life in prison without parole, period. But if Peter was just charged with murdering all those people on the bridge and at the vaccine factory, his sentence would be 25,000 years. And that's just me assuming 1,000 people died as a result of the carnage. Peter is a great big dumb oaf, and his stupidity and self-centeredness have resulted in dozens of innocent people being killed and maimed in tragic accidents. One of the worst examples of this was the time Peter tried to impress his boss.
What do you want, Griffin?
Angela, look out your window. Bush billboard next to the Children's Hospital. Watch this. Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is horrible. Oh, that's terrible. Bless their Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming he didn't get that promotion. And then there was the time he foolishly jumped through the roof as Mary Poppins.
Nanny wanted. Well, that sounds like a good job for an immigrant.
We're getting a new nanny. Oh, Jane, I'm ever so excited. I've always imagined the most beautiful...
Ah, damn it.
While those cases were tragic and all, Peter has caused even worse disasters during his 2-decade feud with Ernie the giant chicken. The conflict has resulted in unimaginable amounts of destruction. We're talking thousands of deaths and millions, maybe even billions worth of property damage.
My God, look at all this devastation.
And did you know that Ernie is actually a real giant chicken? Like, I always thought it was some weirdo in a suit. Since Ernie is an animal and therefore immune to criminal responsibility, that means Peter is solely to blame for everything. I estimate that at least 15,000 people have died as a result of Peter's reckless shenanigans. Manslaughter can carry a sentence of 30 years in prison, and times that by the death toll, that makes Peter's sentence in prison 450,000 years long. And there you have it. Peter's grand total prison sentence is 476,266 years and 6 months long. But there are definitely characters who can top that. Click the screen to find out who is an even worse criminal than Peter.